Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Tool Show with me, Master Dan, the Journeyman shooter. And it's a beautiful day. It's Labor Day, so I'd like to wish all of you hardworking and happy people out there a happy Labor Day. And I know there's a lot of you guys that don't get any credit, you don't make much money, and it's tough. It's not an easy life, but I know you guys do it and you get through it and you're gonna make something. And eventually we're all gonna get out of this mess and become something better. And that's where it gets pretty cool. But what's going on today is for Labor Day, there's this thing in Calgary called the Labor Day Classic. And it's going on kind of in the back over there. There's McMahon Stadium. It's a pretty bright day out. And they're doing the national anthem. And as soon as they do the national anthem, two fighter jets right behind me over here, they're going to come flying through and they're going to speed back past there. And it's going to be real crazy. So you can see the two fighter jets. Wow. You hear it behind? Whoa, look at them split off there. So cool. Wow, did you hear the rumble coming across the valley? That's probably one of my favorite parts about doing this part of the show. But we get to do that kind of stuff, which is awesome, and it's just really cool. I love doing these kind of things. But what I wanted to talk about today was fight or flight. There's two different options. In life, you have two different choices. You can either fight back when you're challenged with danger, or you can fly away. Now, fighter jets, they kind of do both at the same time, which is cool, I guess. Some people can do that. Now, they're going to swing back around here, and they're going to come through again, so it's going to be pretty cool. We'll get another view of the fighter jets coming back. But now, fight or flight, though, there was a guy, his name was Walter Cannon. I don't think he was related to the guy that invented the actual cannon, but Walter Cannon came up with this theory, basically, that's kind of been around through history, and he did it on animals. Now, animals, when they're proposed, like there's a proposed threat or there's some kind of threat to their survival, the animals have two different options that they always go to, basically, and humans are pretty similar in this aspect here. Now, there's the fight option where they can fight back against whatever predator's coming at them, or there's the flight option where they can just run away and flee and be safe. And humans have the same kind of options, and a lot of the time you see the same thing. When somebody's challenged, they can either run away or they can stick up for themselves and fight back. And a lot of the time there's good times to stick up for yourself, and then there's bad times to stick up for yourself. And I know that better than everybody. I kind of stuck up for myself a couple times where it's like I could have just kept quiet and not said anything, but I really felt I was wrong, and it didn't get me anywhere. So it's like, well, why not just let the other person think they won and let them win? And it could be a lot worse. But that's what I wanted to kind of talk about, is the fight or flight option. There's a whole bunch of different things that you can get from that, but with the fight or flight option, it's better to not fight or flight, basically. In today's society, everybody's kind of afraid of everything, and if you're afraid of stuff, then you're going to always be doing that. So why not just avoid the fear and start kind of taking back on that kind of stuff, because you can do it. It's not hard, and you just got to kind of change your thinking, which is another aspect of it. But with that, you can also, there's a whole bunch of different things, because sorry, it's just kind of, I think they're coming back pretty soon here. I heard the sound go through, but that was pretty cool though, eh? But what I wanted to talk about with that is basically the humans have kind of taken over the different aspects from animals too, which is a lot of the time, like you see Discovery's Shark Week and all that kind of stuff, not to give away any names or anything, but people like to take these negative aspects that come from those animal qualities, basically, with the fight or flight, because a lot of these animals are pretty vicious and it's dangerous. It's not a good thing. You don't want to be fighting. And in today's society, if you fight back, people have guns or weapons, so and then people hold grudges forever. So it's, why would you fight? Why would you even do that? It's not worth it. And especially even if you look like kind of a weaker person for walking away, you're going to live a lot longer and you're going to be a lot smarter, because really, if you're fighting somebody, you're using the best things that you have, which is your best tools, your brain and your hands, if you're going to fight back physically. And you're wasting both of them on doing that, because that's a lot of energy that you could be focusing on something better, like learning a new trade or learning a skill or doing something fun. There's a whole bunch of different things, instead of wasting your time stewing around on the people you don't like. Now here comes the fighter jets again, so I'm gonna let you guys watch them here. Where did they go? Oh, there they are. They're way above me. I was like, what's going on? Whoa, cool. Yeah, I like fighter jets just because they're pretty neat. I'm an airplane kind of guy, and whoa, there they go. They're still kind of taking off there. That'd be one of the coolest jobs. I always thought. We have family members in the Air Force and the Canadian Air Force, and they've always said that they're always looking for pilots. So if you ever want to become a pilot, there's a lot of need for pilots, but it's also one of the toughest programs in the world to get into, because if you want to fly one of the best aircrafts or even vehicles on the world, you better be one of the best in the world. So it requires insane vision, insane skills. You have to be the best of the best. So if you want to, that's a great option. You can do that too. You can go join the Army, I guess, if you can't afford your license. It may seem pretty tough, but it's only 2 years you put in, and then at the end you have a pilot's license. You can go fly commercial aircraft. You've served your country and you've done something good. But that's kind of not what I really wanted to talk about. But the fight or flight option, yeah, it's just you have two options, and why not change that? Why not avoid the fear? Why not get rid of both of those options and stop? Yeah, because a lot of the time there's different ways to get revenge, and a lot of people get upset when they get fighting because people always want to get revenge. But the best way to get revenge is, Frank Sinatra himself said it basically, the best revenge is massive success. So if you're massively successful and you're basically overwhelmingly successful, you're gonna be able to not have to worry about those people, because you have everything you want. You have friends, you have family, you have people that love you, you have money, you have your health. You're much better off because you're not fighting some dummy that doesn't deserve it, basically. Because what are they gonna do? They're not gonna get you anywhere. It's just gonna cause you more trouble and more hazards, and that's not what you need. Danger is not a good thing. Even though Jur is my middle name, that doesn't mean that everybody's gonna handle danger the same, even if your name is Dan. So you got to be smart. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to avoid the dangers if you can. Why not? Sorry, I just have a little bit of a wind coming at me there, and I think I got hit by a dusty thing. But that's what I wanted to talk about today, was dust. And no, just kidding. We're talking about the fight or flight, and that's all of it. Basically, you don't want to fight. You don't need to flee and leave every time somebody's challenging you. Sometimes you can just be quiet and let them think they won, and there you go. That's kind of always what I always did. Is I really didn't care. Like, even if you were 100% wrong, I'm not going to fight you on something. You go ahead, you win. You're right. I don't care. You're just going to get angry with me if I start telling you you're wrong. So why would I do that? Especially, nobody knows everything. I don't know everything. So who am I to tell anybody that they're wrong, or that what they're doing is wrong, or their beliefs are wrong? So just do what's you, I guess. That's all you can do. And there's the internet, so you can research stuff. And it's not like you have to be wrong, or you have to tell everybody that they're wrong all the time. It's like, well, I Googled it last night and I heard a couple different other stories, but no problem. You don't even have to bring up that, because that's just challenging people, and more negativity out there isn't going to get the world any farther. The world needs more positivity, and that's kind of what I've been thinking about a lot lately. Is like, I've seen the worst of the worst. Like, you know, when you hit rock bottom, you get a lot of negative thoughts, and negative thoughts just they continue, basically. It's just a negative pattern. You're one negative thought to the next. And I wish we could start kind of changing our brain pattern, and that's what I started to do. Is when I was at like the worst of the worst, I started thinking, well, what if I started paying myself to think positive? Because I was reading in a book one time that somebody put a little bit of money in a jar every time they did something bad, or they swore and all that stuff. And it's like, well, what if in my brain I said something wrong, or I was thinking negatively? Like, what if I just put like $1 into something, or I did some kind of other thing like that, where you put in like $1, and then I got thinking $1's too much, and then I was thinking, well, what about a penny? And a penny's too little, and especially in Canada, there is no pennies anymore, so the pennies are worth more than anything. Because I even seen like a necklace with a little penny on it for $30. Somebody just drilled a hole in it and called it a lucky penny necklace, and it's $30 because you can't get Canadian pennies anymore. So I've been kind of stocking up on Canadian pennies, because the copper's worth more than the money, but the penny is going to be worth a lot more someday when they've already melted all the copper, because you can't get that metal back once it's melted. So that's why I figured, okay, well, penny's too small, but even it's probably worth a lot more than that. So then I was like, well, what about a nickel? But in Canada, a nickel also has the same problem. Is the nickel, anything before 1983, a nickel is worth actually 13 cents. So your 5-cent nickel is worth 13 cents. And that got me thinking too on a whole nother business project. Like, well, if the 1983 nickels, anything before that, are worth 13 cents, and you bought $1 million worth of nickels, you're making 8 cents off every nickel. So wouldn't that mean that you're making $8 million off the 1 million? But then I got doing the math, and it's technically 2.5 times what you're going to make. So if you're going to make 13 cents off that, you're making double and a half what you were going to make off of your 5 cents. So technically, if you have $1 million, you'd make 2.5 million, which is 1.5 5 million extra that you're going to get back, which is pretty amazing. You don't get that all the time. And so if you want to separate that many nickels and go through the store, because you have to just go through all the nickels, separate them all, and then take them back, re-separate them all, and hopefully you can get $1 million worth of these nickels. Then you can cash them in for certain money, but then even then you're wasting that many nickels that were probably valuable. If you go through there's probably some kind of mint that's, especially coin collecting, I'm getting way off subject here, but yeah, so you could make 1,500,000 if you're smart and you have the time to collect all the nickels in Canada that are before 1983. But I'm not going to do it. But if you do, make sure you maybe send a little bit of my money my way for the idea, I guess, because that would be cool. I can always use a couple bucks. But other than that, then I got thinking, well, 10 cents is perfect because a dime isn't worth much more in Canada, and it's not like I'm doing anything else with the dimes. So if I've got a dime, why not just do that? So in my brain, I started playing this game where every negative thought is minus 10 cents, every positive thought is plus 10 cents. So if I think something stupid or I'm kind of getting down on myself about something, it's okay, well, there's minus 10 cents, there's minus 10 cents, and I can add it up in my brain basically, and I just keep a running total. And then if I'm doing something wrong, I can always say a few good things. It's like, well, this is going great. I still have a great place to live. I'm still healthy. I'm still safe. I still have food that I can eat basically once in a while if I'm lucky. The canned food's getting a little bit old, so hopefully we get some more sponsors soon, because I'm getting tired of the beans. But beans are still great because, yeah, the beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the better you feel. So you better have beans for every meal. And that's just one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was beans. And, no, just kidding. But we're talking about the 10 cents thing and trying to change your brain basically, because I'm kind of getting off subject here on my whole speech for the Labor Day fight or flight. But 10 cents, you can start adding things up. Say that your life is good. Say that you're doing good things, or maybe even go out and do something good. Because then I was thinking, well, if I did something really good, maybe I add $1 instead. Because if you do something good for somebody, or you're passing something along, then that's going to be worth more money inside. Or if you actually do something successful and you're doing something good and you're celebrating, there's another $1 or something like that. And at the end of the week, what I do with all that, if I was in a negative amount because I was having a tough time and I couldn't dig out of the hole, I'd go cash that out and I'd take it to somebody that needed it, like a homeless person or somebody that I just kind of see along the river that was living down there, and give them the money just so they could use it for something good. Or I'd go put it on a gift card for $5 at Tim Hortons and give it to them. Like, well, a restaurant, I don't know where you live, you could use whatever kind of restaurant card you want and just give somebody a meal, give somebody something good out of it. And then if I had positive money though, what I would do with that is I'd spend it on myself and I'd go out and have a great night, like go out for a good dinner or go out for someplace fun, entertainment and that kind of stuff. And that's what we do with the positive money. So that was kind of all we wanted to talk about, was what you could do with those different things. And then also the fighter jets that went by, which were really cool. So for Tool Show, I'm Master Dan, the Journeyman shooter. Get out there, make sure you're not fighting, and be safe. That's the way to go. So for Tool Show, Master Dan, Journeyman shooter. Be safe and happy Labor Day.